Has anyone ever told you the definition of insanity? You know, the act of doing the same thing over and over and over, and expecting the results to change? Namely, that terminology has become synonymous with the rise of gaming's annual iteration model. Ubisoft cashes in on this practice yearly thanks to Assassin's Creed, but Far Cry is a uniquely different beast. The first title showcased a former Special Forces member left to survive the onslaughts of genetically modified primates on a South Pacific island. The second game's hero of the player's choosing landed in a small African state plagued by malaria, a much less super disease. Far Cry 3 combines the best of these releases, returning to lush, untamed jungles inherent to the original Far Cry, while preserving the explosive sandbox experience and open-ended mission structure of its sequels. In terms of freedom, exploration, and the amount of side content, Far Cry 3 may be the closest game to Skyrim to release this year, minus the cheese wheels. The new protagonist, a narcissistically omnipotent young man by the name of Jason Brody, happens to be partying in Bangkok alongside his wealthy friends and brothers when the nightclub's DJ suggests the intoxicated group parachute onto Rook Island. Almost immediately, Voss and his modern-day pirates capture the kids with intent on selling them into slavery, but Jason flees the trafficking camp at the cost of his brother's life. He soon awakes after being tattooed by one of the village's inhabitants in some unknown room. This armband honors Jason for escaping Voss and his men alive, and denotes his significance as a budding Rakyat warrior, the native tribe that currently opposes Voss and the man he works for. In turn, this body art grants Jason the abilities he needs to rescue his friends still held captive. His tattoo changes throughout the course of the campaign, becoming more intricate and detailed as a visual representation of the progress made when upgrading skills. The first order of business, Jason must learn to hunt, although slaying animals is the only activity that does not reciprocate some form of experience points. Skinning these beasts for their leather and fur opens up crafting options once players gather the prerequisite amount of hides. Each quiver, wallet, backpack, ammo pouch, syringe kit, holster, and so on requires a certain animal pellet, and you'll find no shortage of variety in this tormented promised land. Tortoises, bears, tapirs, tigers, sharks, dingoes, cassowaries, Komodo dragons, and more lay claim to the unpaved jungle. Herbivores run away on sight, yet predators actually track Jason, betraying their position in the dense undergrowth through hisses and growls. I nearly jumped out of my skin when, while stalking a herd of deer, I turned around to see a leopard not 6 feet away, shoulders low and ready to pounce. That same hunter-hunted paranoia awakens in the crystal blue seas. Sharks and crocodiles flock to the telltale thrashing of bodies and blood mixing with salt water, and given Jason's clouded vision and my phobia of the open ocean, I shuddered before each dive into the briny deep to skin the man-eater resting on the sandy seabed. But the isolating tension and Far Cry 3's ability to elicit an actual fear response made me fall in love with the game even more. The predators do not shy away from open conflict either. Many pirate patrols met their unsavory deaths in the jaws of an angry Asian bear, but so did Rakyat allies. You could assist the side of your choosing or simply let these three-way wars take their course around overgrown jungle ruins, abandoned beaches, or unkempt shanty towns, while you gather herbs for another health syringe. These random engagements sell Rook Island as an uncontrollable piece of verdant soil better than previous Far Cry settings, from gunshots ringing somewhere off in the distance to a pack of rabid dogs chasing wild goats. Events happen in the world regardless of Jason's presence or intervention. Jason's sudden mastery of all firearms also plays a pivotal part in single-handedly clearing outposts of the pirates' influence. Liberating these camps equates to fewer armed patrols on the roads in that region and new points of fast travel. Better yet, each station's layout, as no two are identical, emphasizes the puzzle elements correspondent to Far Cry 3's combat. Do you tag targets with the binoculars first, manually disable all alarms, then execute the soldier's machete in hand? Do you let a caged carnivore loose from its bamboo prison and snipe the animal's captors while they're distracted? Maybe the video game sadist in you enjoys throwing Molotovs into fields of barren grass moments before the kindling and soldiers go up in flames. Players never have to worry about weapon degradation too. Ubisoft Montreal had the foresight to scrap this hindrance after Far Cry 2. Takedowns further expand the tools at Jason's disposal. One execution allows him to drag corpses out of sight, while another pulls a knife from his first victim's belt, machete still in his neck, before lodging the blade in the second target with a fatal throw. If subtlety doesn't fit into your playstyle, Jason can rip the pin off a soldier's grenade and kick him into a crowd, or grab a pistol from the man's holster and eliminate several oblivious guards in a rapid quick draw. Still not convinced? Ubisoft even borrows a pair of aerial and ledge assassinations from Assassin's Creed. The greater the variety, the more experience earned when chaining takedowns. Honestly, this brutality satisfies in ways only video games can. You'll have difficulty traversing the treacherous countrysides, however, unless you scale nearby radio towers and re-establish their signals. Although these crumbling citadels of rust and metal demand that Jasons jump between tetanus-packed ledges, I clipped through their catwalks twice and plummeted to the ground below. Chalk it up to glitches or the stiff first-person platforming, but at least players respawn at the nearest allied outpost. Parkouring up to the tower's peak and unjamming the radio broadcast immediately reveals a new part of the map, its quest markers, collectibles, and the animals that call the territory their own. As an added bonus, store owners hand out free weapons to repay the favor. After the 15-hour story, the remaining 20 hours of single-player content proved to be successful time sinks, encompassing Wanted Dead missions, Path of the Hunter quests, poker games, marksman competitions, and Trials of the Rakyat. These trials track high scores across your friends list in a variety of shooting galleries. For example, one trial cycles firearms after every kill, similar to Counter-Strike's gun game. Wanted Dead contracts, on the other hand, ask that players honor Rakyat tradition by eliminating PMCs or pirates with a knife, and Path of the Hunter assignments send gamers to eradicate prized beasts using a weapon of the employer's choosing. A rare ebony panther, golden tiger, and red Komodo dragon all provide pelts for the final crafting recipes, yet the pinnacle moment tells one crimson bull shark, a small lifeboat, and nothing but the recurve boat to stave off the other half-dozen circling man-eaters. Unsent World War II letters written by Japanese soldiers now decaying in crumbling bunkers, and memory cards that expose merchants' drug cartel connections unravel additional abhorrent mysteries surrounding this unfriendly tourist destination. However, scavenging for relics rounds out the less thrilling activities. Treasure maps reveal collectible locations, but these mementos require some rock climbing or underwater diving before they can be acquired. While every trinket offers a sizable experience reward, the trouble's not worth the effort beyond the temptations of achievements. The co-op missions are not worth the trouble either. A band of cruise ship survivors pursues the captain that sold out the crew and passengers in exchange for an easy payday, while these four unhinged individuals echo many of the faults they found in the Darkness 2's cooperative agents. This cast of terribly written anti-heroes merely composes the Far Cry 3 B team. The shooting still works fine despite the linear level design, and the addition of 3 teammates gives players the opportunity to behave a little more recklessly than the campaign permits, yet the controls lose a certain precision and responsiveness once lag enters the fray. Objectives consist of repairing a train engine, detonating multiple bridges, and murdering droves of mercenaries, but the odd minigame also allows Far Cry 3 to cut the serious tone and have some fun, whether you're competing in a pirate sniping challenge to see who accrues the most points or racing bomb-strapped ATVs to the next goal marker. Try as I might, feelings of a tacked-on co-op mode cannot be dispelled. The 6 scenarios tell a generic tale that lacks the payoff seen in the single player's conclusion, and hostiles fall through the ground, vanish from sight, and teleport into obstacles. Although glitches remain absent from multiplayer, Far Cry 3 does not breed the same competition fundamental to Call of Duty, Battlefield, or any other AAA shooter, even if it includes rank persistence. Hardcore gamers will strive to find some enjoyment beyond the first few sets of unlocks. Too bad the comprehensive map editor, which includes dozens of landscaping tools and building assets to shape some incredible vistas, does not save the online experience. At any rate, the cooperative and multiplayer component should be considered meager side dishes to an otherwise delectable main course. Gamers can spend 30 hours exploring Rook Island and not touch on all there is to see. From hunting beasts, to crafting pouches, to reclaiming outposts, to climbing radio towers, to rescuing Jason's friends, each task undertaken feeds back into the sandbox experience smoothly. Every quest, collectible, and contract also benefits Jason, so players never feel like they're not progressing the storyline or finalizing their skill trees. Few releases master this freedom outside the studios of Bethesda or Rockstar, but you'd be insane not to purchase Far Cry 3.